What's up, guys? Welcome back to Veteran Aquatics. My name is Dylan, and today we're going to talk about breeding Apistogramma cockatoides as well as some other species. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in a minute. So firstly, if you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll notice I shaved my beard. It's just that time of the year. It's getting warm out again. I'll grow it back out next fall. It did look good, and that was the longest I'd ever had it. But we're not here to talk about beards. We're here to talk about apistos. So I made a video not too long ago talking about apistos and showing you the breeding tank that I had set up for my super red cockatoides. So we're going to revisit that because both of the females are sitting on eggs or wigglers. It's kind of hard to tell. So I just wanted to go over that with you and show you that it works. And show you that I was able to breed not just a pair, but a trio in one tank. So this is the apisto tank that I'm talking about. So you'll see there's a bunch of leaf litter, some detritus, there's some plants, lots of duckweed, there's a heater. Apistos do like it warm. This glare is killer right now. There's the male, a really pretty boy, and there's the female. So she's one of the ones on eggs. So she's got them in that little crevice down there under the piece of driftwood, and it's super duper hard to see them. I did see her moving them the other day. So she's in here with some wigglers, and then there's another female back there in that terracotta pot. So what I did is I set up, this is a trio, so there's two females, one male. So there is a cave right there that they chose not to use. There's the terracotta pot in the back that they did use, and then this piece of driftwood. Now this piece of driftwood has, so apistos like to lay either like on the underside of a cave, but you'll see she's over there messing with them. I'm probably stressing her out, which I don't want to do. I don't want her to eat the fry. I don't want her to eat the eggs. And as soon as they become free swimming, I'm taking the male out. But I noticed this last night. So, yep, these guys have spawned. My TDS is something like 180. It's actually pretty high for apistos. I was going to start doing RO water changes here to drop that TDS, but it looks like I didn't have to. I doubt she's going to come out, but you can see her in there. So what I noticed, the first thing I noticed was they had gone from very fat, very plump, kind of like the male is down there, to very skinny all of a sudden. All I was feeding them was decapsulated brine shrimp and flake food. And yeah, so I've got a double apisto spawn in this tank, which is awesome. Hopefully he was able to fertilize most of the eggs, because then we'll have a bunch of super red cockatoides babies. So I just wanted to show you that, give you a quick update about these guys, and just show you that this breeding setup did in fact work. Which brings us to our next project. These are Apistogramma agassizii. So you can see the males, they have that really nice electric blue and the orange, and the females are those really bright yellow ones. So I've been conditioning these guys, feeding them really, really good. You can see they're all nice and chunky. So what I'm going to do is, I've already set up the tanks for them. I just have to run the air pump, because I'm actually going to end up running an air loop in here, in my living room, of all places, to run all the tanks that I have out here, because my fish room here is very small. Another thing I wanted to show you, these are albino topaz. There's a ton of babies in here. This is actually 2 drops worth. And she dropped a bunch of them in here too. So we've got a ton of blue topaz growing up. So in a couple of months, they should be ready to go. So these are the tanks that I set up for the agassizii. So you'll notice that they're very cloudy. I don't even have a filter run to these yet, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like before fish are in, before it starts growing out, stuff like that. And I wanted to show you some of the things that I'm doing a little differently. So again, we have our terracotta pot back there. We have our piece of driftwood with some java moss on it. Same thing here. There's some catappa leaves in here. They still need to sink. The leaves release tannins, which help lower the pH in the tank. But something different in these tanks is, you'll notice, there's dirt. Why did I put dirt in the apisto tanks? Well, apistos, general water parameters are slightly acidic. They like a pH between like 6 to 7. and my tap water is at about 7. So while the wood and the leaves will release tannins and over time reduce the pH, the dirt will do that much faster. So this will probably bring it down to about 6.6. And another thing it'll do, when I lower the TDS by putting RO water in it to get them to spawn, it'll help buffer the water and keep the tank from crashing. So the only other things I'm going to add in here are duckweed floating at the top. We'll put some stem plants in here and just a sponge filter, and that's it. That's an Apisto breeding tank. That's how it works. I mean, you guys see the two females are in there. They're on eggs already, and I didn't even have to do anything with those. You notice that the Agassiziae are bright yellow. That means that they are ready. When the females color up nice and yellow like that, it means they're ready to spawn. So you can see there's a pretty significant difference between the males and the females. There's a nice yellow female, and there's a nice pretty colored up male. This camera is doing them no justice because they are incredibly beautiful fish. There's another female, there's another female. And this is typical of Apistogramma. So the females will get those bright yellow bodies when they're ready. The males will color up nicely. They'll start showing their breeding colors. And that's how you know that they're conditioned and ready, and that's why I set up the tanks. These guys had to be quarantined, they had to be fed, they had to be fattened up. They had to transition into my water, and they've done so very well. The water that's in their tanks currently is only tap water. What I'll do is, over time, I'll do small RO water changes and lower the TDS to trigger them to spawn, and it'll give me an idea of where I can stop. So I don't want to just put a ton of RO water in there, drop the TDS down to 5, and potentially kill them. What I'd prefer to do is start with tap water and then just over time do RO water changes, and that'll tell me exactly what the TDS is when they spawn, because we have our handy dandy Inkbird TDS meter. So to give you an idea, so here's the Cockatoides tank. So you put that in there. The TDS in there is about 185. That's pretty high. And then we come up here, and then you'll see the TDS is about the same. My tap water is around 180 to 200. So the TDS in there is pretty high. Interestingly enough, when I was testing the tap water last night, it was coming out at about 100. So if we're going to test it here, in the tank I just set up, we'll see it settle at about 160 for now, which is good. It's a little bit lower, and it might even be enough to get some of them to spawn. But what we're going to do is, when they spawn, I'm going to check the TDS, and we're going to see exactly what it was when they spawned, so I know exactly what TDS those Agassiziae like. Now that the Cockatoides have spawned, I know that they can be done in about 185. And I just wanted to quickly show you this baffle that I set up. So it's nice and organized. I've already got all of the air tubing run. I haven't set up the pump yet. I have to build a shelf, and then we come over here to the dining room, and there's a bunch more. So this will help run the shrimp tanks. It'll help run the Cory tanks and the Pleco tanks and stuff that are all out here. And this is Morgan. Say hi, Morgan.
Hi.
So if you're on my band, you know that I added Morgan on as a co-admin. You know some of the stuff I've been through and some of the stuff that's changing now. So Morgan is amazing. Those Corys and 397s are actually hers. She's working on aquascaping, and her channel is, what is it? It's Rock Hard Scapes.
Yes.
So I'll put a link to that in the description. She doesn't have any videos out yet, but she is a beginner aquascaper, so if you want to learn some stuff about that and kind of go through that with her as she learns, I think that'll be a lot of fun. I've enjoyed watching her do it, and she's got a couple tanks that are scaped and videos that she's going to put out. So make sure to go check her channel out, and don't forget to go check out Pete Bruce, Mr. B's Aquatics. He's a breeder of mine. He does a great job. And Saturday, the 25th, we will be at That Fish Place, That Pet Place in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's a fish swap. It's thrown by the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County. Things like those Apistogramma Agassiziae. I have other triple red Cockatoides and some other things will be there, as well as some really nice plants. If you didn't see those in my last video, make sure you go check them out. But that's all for today, guys. As always, stay safe, stay happy, and I will see you next time.